July 27th, 2021. How's it going, guys? I'm going to try to do another video on talking about car shopping today. So let's see if we can get to that instead of being interrupted by big loud motorcycle gunning coming up the street here. All right, first thing, we went car shopping again today. Looked around, went over some on the Kansas side, looked at some there, and still haven't found what we're exactly looking for. Some of these vehicles, you know, depending from the price range, you know, from anything from, I would say, you know, $8,000 down. Certain ones have certain problems, which some of them are advertised not to have too many problems, and some of them do. But when I get through here doing this car shopping and stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post all the good car lots that we went to and how friendly they were and stuff like that, and what kind of, you know, how they treated everybody. I've been out to Blue Springs the day before last, hit a couple different places and stuff, and we're still looking here. I mean, some of the car issues, you know, when you're looking for cars, you know, brakes aren't really a big issue, or if you have to put, you know, shocks on, and now if you got to put struts on, for some people that would be a big issue. And, you know, but things do add up. And I mean, we looked at one vehicle that actually had one of the temperature control module on that was broken, but they said they would either fix it, take off $100, or basically they would fix it. The thing of it is, some of these things on these modules can cost up to $400 on, like, where you have to turn your AC and heat on. A lot of people don't know that. And if you get in there and it's like, oh, well, this is a quick fix, it could just, you know, but it's not always a quick fix. And I'm just straight up front with everybody and tell them, you know, what's broke, what's wrong, what I see, you know, if there's leaks, if, you know, whatever else. Looked at one vehicle today, and I could hear a bearing in the main basically was grinding. As soon as it started, it was on a Fusion, believe it or not, and the bearing was actually, you know, grinding, you know, and not good. I drove a Ford Escape today, and basically felt really top heavy. I mean, it really, and it didn't have very much power. And I drove a few other vehicles today too, looking at a few other ones and stuff. So interesting, very interesting. But like I say, you know, cars, depending on the prices, but, you know, a lot of people out here, and they act like if you buy a $4,000 car, you're, you know, it's still, you know, it's like it's nothing. That's not true. There's a lot of people who don't have a lot of money. And I mean, if they're looking at, you know, they at least should be up front, let them know what's wrong with the vehicle, you know. I mean, especially, there's other things to check for. We'll talk about that later on here, definitely. So I mean, there's lots of different things, like I say, guys. And I drove one vehicle today that, now see, that's just normal. See, that's a normal bike going down the street. But Harleys, I mean, when you're revving it, that's excessive. They're doing deliberate. That's deliberate. No reason for that whatsoever. Shoot, we pass Harleys all the time out on 435 going up to Worlds of Fun, I-70. They don't do that. I mean, that's BS. But getting back to this other here stuff, and I drove another one today that I'm still looking at. I'm going to reserve my deal on that for a while and just think about it a little bit. But, I mean, there's so many other things, too, here to look at. And, I mean, from the headlights, I mean, a lot of the headlights today, of course, are plastic covered. They turn a tinge and stuff. And, you know, some people say you can get that buffed out. Yeah, you can't buff some of it out, but you can't buff all of it out. That's another thing you need to look for on some of this stuff. Always want to look underneath the vehicle, see if there's any oil drippage. People don't usually do that, but it don't hurt to get down on your hands and knees a little bit and just look up. look up and see if there's oil on the frame, if it's dripping down or whatever. And then if it's all cleaned off and wiped off real tight, you might also want to run the engine for about 5 minutes there and see if any drips do appear on something like that. Just another heads up on this car shopping deal. So, like I say, a lot of interesting things we've come across already that you would not believe. And tires. A lot of these tires that people don't realize too, that some tires on certain vehicles have, okay, when you look at them, it isn't like, a lot of people might think like the old tire, if you have just like a 1/4 inch tread, take like the penny test, that don't all work. Because there's lines that are grooved out on these tires, okay, where they cut into it. And that actually will see, you could hear it, he's gunning it again in the distance. I could hear it in the distance. The thing of it is, on these tires, let me show you something. Let's see if we can see this. Something that's getting kind of dark here. I don't know, maybe go over here to the new one over here. And if you can see this here, there's some tires have a lot more little lines here. And they actually, not the deep ones, because you would think, or if the lines are going this way basically, this line here is not actually all the times going to stop the car. But if these little lines wear out, you might not have no grip on anything when it's wet pavement or ice. You might not get as much grip at all. Now, I had a Z28 Camaro that wore the tires out on all the time. And once these little lines disappeared, it wasn't good on in any wet pavement whatsoever. Even though that it had almost a 1/4 inch tread, almost in depth in it, it didn't do no good. They had to be replaced. So it's another thing to think about here. So, I don't know, guys. Like I say, we're on the car quest. A car quest hunt, definitely. But still looking. You know, reasonably, you should be able to find a car from, you know, from $4,000 to, like I say, about $8,000. That's fairly in good condition. You know, it shouldn't have too many problems. I mean, you can understand if it might have to have brakes on it, or, you know, something simple. But when you get into major things, it can add up really quick. I mean, if you got a transmission that's leaking, or you got a head gasket, you can tie a lot of money up. So it's stuff to be aware of, you know. And I mean, there's so many things too. Like I say too, one of the vehicles we got in today, the door lights basically were showing the door was ajar, was on. It wouldn't go off on one of the Fords. And not good, guys. Not good at all. So, I mean, and the doors were checked. I mean, we checked to make sure the doors were closed good on the vehicle. So then you have to worry. I mean, a lot of the vehicles too have been in minor damages. A lot of them, airbags have not been deployed on or stuff like that. They've just been in like a little fender bender or something like that. I mean, you know, you expect some scrapes, you expect some stuff, but some of this stuff here gets way out there, you know. And you know, look at this. Whoa. Boy, that wasn't going down 35, was it? They travel down here 47th Street. Interesting. But I don't know. Crazy stuff out there, guys, when it comes to looking at these cars. Trying to find something dependable too. We're still looking here. Last time it took me almost 3 months to find a vehicle that was in halfway decent condition. Now, like I say, I replaced all the rear back suspension on the vehicle. It was a Ford, and it was just that the rubber garments around it had wore out some. And I did replace that and stuff. But it just, I mean, certain things are not that big a deal. Other things are. I mean, we looked at one four-wheel drive today that the tires were fairly wore on. And, I mean, you're talking $170 a tire. And I mean, you know, here you go. You're talking $800 right there, right off the bat, having to replace those tires. So, I mean, I don't think, you know, you have to take into consideration all this stuff, what it's going to cost. And I mean, what they price the value of the vehicles at. So, I mean, it's just like anything. I mean, just trying to find a good buy out there. I have not had very good luck so far looking at these Fusions. I'm going to go look at maybe a couple more tomorrow. And I got some other ones I'm going to go look at, a couple more Escapes and stuff. I drove it, like I said, I did drive a Blazer today too, and I was fairly impressed with it. But, like I say, it was another thing that kind of concerned me too about it, because the tires on it wasn't very good, and I was getting a thump on the back right rear of it. And I couldn't tell if it was the rear end maybe starting to go out, or if it was the tires. Now, I mean, the problem of this is, you know, if you see something of good value, it'd be great. But the thing of it is, you're talking almost $1,700 if you replace a rear end in one of those. If you replace it, you know, it's been redone basically. So, I mean, that's a lot of money to, you know, in something like that. And though between the pinion, ring gears, and everything else, they can get out of alignment on stuff like that. I really don't care that much about it if it's a four-wheel drive or not, or something like that, but I was just kind of looking to see. But I was impressed with the vehicle. I will say I was very impressed with the vehicle. But that was the only thing that kind of, you know, was like, well, you know, I don't know, you know. And that just, I don't know. But if one tire has got a knot and it was coming back from the right rear, even if they put one new tire on the vehicle, I mean, you know, I would think at least, you know, I would do that, even have one new tire and say, well, I did this because, you know, prove, you know, to show that it was in good condition. I mean, that's the thing about it. But I mean, because I mean, $200 and $1,700 is two totally different things there when you're talking about that. I mean, if you're already going to almost spend like $7,000 on something, you know, who wants to spend another almost $2,000 on a rear end? But interesting stuff, guys. But this insurance deal, like I say, still waiting. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm curious. I don't know why it's taking so long, though. Most of the insurance things I've ever seen, we had a couple vehicles that got hit with, like, deers and stuff like that. I mean, deers ran out and stuff, and they were out here a couple days, and it was a done deal and stuff. I don't know. Anyway, guys, just a short video. Try to get my deal about car shopping in. I'll be out there again tomorrow and going all over, still looking here. Hopefully by the end of the week I can find something and get this stuff done. I'll be glad on that anyway. But anyway, have a good one, guys.